The top three reasons why sales are so hard for companies to actually go out there and make, there's a few different variables that really prevent them from being successful at growing and scaling their new business. First and foremost, it's you want to make sure you actually schedule your time out when you're going to do things. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see companies out there making. I made it myself. I had the hardest time trying to scale because of that. There'd be a lot of times going out there, I would just wing it and kind of go with the process. But, going throughout the day and just, whenever I'll get to it. I'll just figure out and go about my day and see when I have time for content creation or to do outreach, things like that. Doing it like that does not work. It really does not, because you end up sitting behind and being more reactive than proactive on the day, and then you're not even planned out. It adds an internal stress as well that you might not be aware of, but you end up worrying about, when am I going to do this, or when am I going to do that then? And it's just an internal stress that just continues to go and grow. So what you want to do is really schedule out the day. So take the time, and I know you probably hear this all the time. It's nothing new. It's not brain science. It's not rocket science or anything like that, but the whole point is take the time the day before or early in the morning before you start. Wake up an extra 15-20 minutes and get to your desk or wherever it is you do your stuff, and just map out your day, like how you want to spend it. I prefer doing the day before simply because it's easier to know when you have to get up. For people that try to do it early in the morning before they get started, or afternoon or whatever, a lot of times what that ends up doing is still giving you that reactive state, because then they take it upon themselves to, when I have time, again, back to the whole when I have time, I'll do it. They take it to that point on making their schedule. So it's very important. Make sure that you don't wait till last minute to do your schedule. Again, we're trying to avoid the whole being reactive versus proactive thing. Once you have your schedule down, you're literally just going line by line, dedicating what you need to that specific category or task that you're doing in that hour. And once that hour is done, move on. If you're doing content creation, like example, let's say you're doing content creation from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Once that time frame hits 12 p.m. or 1 p.m., whatever you chose, move on. Don't do it anymore. You're done. Wherever you're at is wherever you're at, and whatever you have next, you have to have the discipline to move on to. Let's say you're doing outreach or sales meetings 1 p.m. and onward, and you ended at 1 p.m. for social media content creation. You need to have the discipline to go out there and focus on outreach. Anyways, that's something you have to take in mind. It's there's reasons why people say schedule it out. It's not because they're just trying to say what's a popular routine to do. They're just trying to tell you what really works. Like, they've tried this stuff in the past. Back to the whole saying, don't fix what's not broke. It's not broken. My English is terrible right now. Don't fix what's not broken. Same concept goes with all this. People have tried different methods. They found out what works. And honestly, the whole scheduling thing out is a fantastic way to making sure you're going to be successful. And then you just have to consistently do that every day. Consistently show up to do it. And you will find where you need to make tweaks and course correct in that schedule, what's working, what's not, and adjust it. But don't constantly keep readjusting it. Just like improve it go reanalyze it every 2 or 3 weeks. Where I need to make improvements, and do it. The second biggest thing that really prevents people from actually generating more sales is sitting down and doing the actual outreach. Again, back to the schedule. The schedule kind of lays the foundation of all this stuff I'm about to talk about. But sitting down and actually doing the outreach, and that there's 2 subcategories within that. It goes way deeper than that, but for me specifically, there's 2 subcategories within that also stop people when they're doing the outreach. If they sit down and do it, they're not focused on a group. They're not focused on an audience. They're doing anybody and everybody. And when I say anybody and everybody, it doesn't have to be like, we focus on dentists, or we focus on chiropractors, or we focus on automotive mechanics, or whatever. It doesn't have to be any of that. It can be more of the psychographics that, what are they going through as a company? Me, as an example, I like helping people that are trying to start new businesses, that or already have started a new business and are trying to get out of the seller founder role. I want to help those people. And that, I don't have to focus on specific people like marketing agencies, dentists, or, you know, I can choose to if I really want to. Will the message be more, will it resonate? 100%. It will resonate 100% more if you do something like that. But just narrowing down on specific areas, like there's some coaches out there, I see their marketing, and they're saying, hey, if you're not doing, if you're not doing 10K a month at this time and you're struggling, then they'll go on with their offer. Or another example, I know there's a guy who sells being an appointment setter and a closer and training to be one as the way in the path to freedom, to financial freedom, controlling your life. You know, it can be that destination that they're focused on, and he focuses on the people going into the 9 to 5. Like, if you're stuck with a 9 to 5, hate your life, and you want to travel the world, live life the way you want, then you go check out, you know, being a closer or getting trained with appointment center. He's speaking to a specific group of audience, people that have a certain frustration. That's also niching down. I mean, I know it's part of there's a big thing that went around for a while where you focus on a niche, like, again, like dentist, chiropractic, whatever. Focus on the problem, and then focus on transformation within a certain time frame. That was a traditional offer development, which is still really good, but people are stuck at thinking they have to help a specific group now, and that's not the case. Don't think you have to. Anyway, so that's one way of generating leads and having sales being held up because people aren't doing stuff like that. They aren't focused on a specific group, which that ends up a specific type of group or situation that they're going through, which ends up backlogging because they get frustrated because they're not reaching anybody, they're not resonating with anybody. So the other thing in regards to outreach is just simply going out there and doing the work, getting that scheduling down to actually do it. And so if you consistently show up every day just to do it, you're going to see the results come through eventually. It's just going to happen. It's about the law of numbers. You just have to make sure it's implemented. Now, the third thing is market research. So one big thing a lot of people will go out there and do is simply just wing it, which is also a big subject of today's video. Winging it, again, is not going to cut it. You got to go out there and do the work. You got to go out there and do your research. It doesn't take long. Can you spend forever on it? 100%. You totally could. You could spend hours on this, and you should. You should, if you're serious about your business, you should go out there and dedicate the time. Market research involves going on Google, typing in, let's say there was a thing a while ago, I was creating a course, and it was trying to be more of like trying to help closers, you know, or help people get into closing, essentially. I was making a course on that. And some of the questions I would just simply look up was, what are some of the top questions new closers have, or new sales reps have? Because closers is not really, at the time, the term closers was not well recognized on Google as an actual role. Nowadays, it's getting more recognized. But so sales reps, I asked what are the top frequently most asked questions sales reps have? What are some of the key problems sales reps have? What are people trying to leave their 9 to 5 job? What are some positives, some pros and cons about that? What do they like about their 9 to 5? Because I want to know what they like, because the people I'm trying to attract are the people coming from 9 to 5. So I also want to know what they like, what do they not like about it. What are an example is when people are transitioning from the 9 to 5 to closing, obviously they're commission based. They're not used to that on their 9 to 5. And the reason why I want to know what they like on the 9 to 5 is simply because I'm going to have to be prepared to fight that objection. So I need to know what they're looking for and be able to explain why this is better, essentially. So you want to find out all that key information. Other things you want to find out is stuff like if you have any competitors, what are they doing? What are the offer points? What are the price points? What are some of the value deliverables that they're doing? Fulfillment processes, are they doing a lot of done for you stuff where they're doing all the work for you? Are they just doing a coaching program? Is it just a bunch of templates and scripts they give you? Like, what is it? You want to figure all this out. So do the market research, figure out how popular it is that you're doing, how many people actually want it. And another thing that people will not generally do is schedule meetings just to find out. You know, I did that a lot where we had to dive into meetings. I don't know how many meetings we had just to figure out exactly what the market was looking for. And we pivoted so many times. Like, we stayed geared on the task that we wanted, But at the same time, that was holding us back for a long time. And then we realized the market wants something completely different than what we are offering. Like, they want the end result of what we're doing, but they don't want the format. They don't want it delivered in a certain way we were delivering it at a time. They also didn't want what they thought was old school and seemed sort of old school to them. So we switched and we pivoted. That's what you want to do ultimately. You want to see what the market wants. The only way you're going to find that out is if you actually talk to the market, put two and two together, what they're all asking that's similar, what they're all requesting in regards to deliverables, and what they're all needing. Like, a good example was there was a point in time we were stepping away from a specific service, a specific thing that we were doing, and it had to do with like lead generation and people having to do their own, essentially. And found out that people, even if they had the capacity, some of them just didn't want to do their own lead generation. Some of them didn't even want to go out there and do their and even if they had the capacity, they didn't know how. And so there's two little bottlenecks right there that would be holding up the process. If it's going to make your deliverables harder to do it for them. Make that easier for yourself, because what we found was we were having to go in there and do the work anyways for them, which is twice the work, twice the time, twice the manpower. I mean, it wastes a lot of time, essentially. So listen to your market. Listen to what they want. Adjust. This is not about what you want to do as a business. It is about what you want to do as a business, but it's when you're doing that, you're also committing to doing what the market wants as a result. It's a relationship. You listen to the market, they look at you for advice. It's pretty simple. But those are the top three things that I see, and it goes way deeper. This is just the surface level of certain things you need to go into. There's a whole lot of more complexity behind it. So make sure, if you focus on those three things that we just covered, I don't know why I held up my hand, I just held up the hand of 5 instead of 3. But if you focus on those three things, market research, outreach implementation, and actually scheduling your day, you'll see a lot of results coming through. And you'll be able to figure out what you need to do from there and course correct. By the way, if you're liking content like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, share it, follow, give it to your grandma, give it to your dog, I don't care, pass it along, help the channel grow. We're doing all this organically, so trying to reach as many people as possible. That's all we want to go out there and help other people that are getting into business. Subscribe, and we'll see you next time. But for real though, go ahead and share with people that's actually going to help. I mean, if your grandma happens to be a business person that's trying to get into business, for sure, share it with her. If your dog is going to open up their own dog collar business, they're going to be your mascot, share it with them too. But for real though, go share it with people that actually are going to enjoy this, that will actually benefit out of this. Help us a lot. Talk to you soon.